AI is transforming how software testing works. But using AI tools is not the same as using them professionally. The ISTQB Certified Tester Testing with Generative AI certification defines the structured, internationally recognized standard for applying generative AI in testing. It validates your ability to engineer effective prompts, evaluate AI outputs, enhance automation, and integrate AI into real testing workflows. This is more than experimentation. It is professional competence. Stand out. Prove your expertise. Get certified in testing with generative AI.
Warm greetings from ISTQB. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. So we are here yet with another session on the ISTQB track for the A4Q Testing Summit. And this one is going to give us a deep dive on ISTQB certification, the value of the certification from different perspectives, from the academic perspective, from the business perspective, and also from within ISTQB as well. So for this panel, we have esteemed guests from different background joining us. So we have Natia, who is the CEO of Exact Pro Georgia office, co-founder of GEO STQB, which is the Georgian board of ISTQB in Georgia, and executive board member and board member of ICT Association. So Natia, we are very, very glad to have you with us. Next, we have Zolt, who is a test manager, test consultant, and trainer, and deeply involved with ISTQB on multiple fronts, on multiple initiatives, big task force, big working group. Thank you, Zolt, for being with us. And last but not least, Dimitri. So he is a lecturer teaching software testing to computer science students at Vilnius University. So if you don't know where Vilnius is, it's in Europe. You need to check it on the map and you'll find it. So thank you, Dimitri, for being with us. Right.
Thank you.
So again, a pleasure of having this diversity in the panel for us to tackle this broad topic of the value of ISTQB certification, be it from market perspective, from individual, from academia, from business. So to start with, I would like to take ISTQB from the basis. ISTQB has been there for more than 20 years. I think it's going on to 23, 24 years already now. And we have been in the certification side for quite 2 decades, for quite a long time. Isn't ISTQB old? Is it still relevant for whatever certifications we are providing to the market, to the professionals? Is it still relevant? I'll start, I would say ladies first. I'll turn to Natia to start the conversation.
Hello, everyone. First of all, I would like to thank you for the invitation and having me here for today. And I think it's one of the important topics nowadays, especially when there is an era of AI in developing. Let me start from a little bit different angle while we speak about the certifications. From the business perspective, and as much people as I met today, I would separate in 2 different cases. One are the case when, for example, there is a specialist who enter on a junior level and they have no any background and just would like to take the certificate or has eager. And the different case is when there is a specialist who works already as in thinking to take certificate or not. I would never meet anyone who would say that having certificate is purely enough from a business perspective, or you can be just a cold expert in this level. But On the other hand, the very ones that are starting to taking certificates, they started with acknowledgement to the sphere, like to understand all the fundamentals and the basic knowledge of certificate, and to enter in the area where they can understand to each other internationally or globally, and to have the same language which they can use and communicate globally as well. And for me right now, I was just taking the fundamentals in the basic area and the alignments for those who are just entering on the level, or the specialists who are just working and they want to prove that I'm working for a long time, and but I need to set up all the processes, how it's called, what are the proper names in this area, and then I'm taking the basic fundamental certificates, and somehow everything is sorted out. So I would say that on some level, it's definitely even much more needed, and still it's relevant nowadays. To follow up and not only mention the fundamental and related to the basic certifications, depending on the level that you are growing up and specialists are growing and developing themselves, there are actually always the point when you just stop and ask yourselves the questions that, yes, I have learned and I have done a lot of projects. I have managed to do a lot of practice in myself, but do I know how it's properly called? Or do I know how everything is set up properly, all the processes? And personally, even I had the same case several years ago, and I know a lot of experts who had the similar questions to themselves. And then there comes the certifications, definitely, that gives you the standards, that explains how everything should be set up and how is the properly to be called everything. And that's exactly how I call that the certification should step in, and you need to follow what is given there. And that's why I think that even the era of AI, and I guess we will have much more to discuss afterwards, it's still relevant to follow and to take the certificates.
Perfect. Thank you, Natia. Anyone would like to add to what Natia said?
Yes, Lovelash. If I may, I would like to add, you've asked, is ISTQB old or still relevant? I would say it is mature, but relevant more than ever, because there are a lot of really cool new products, new certifications, generative AI, testing with AI. It's all there, and it's a hot topic right now.
Indeed. Zol?
Yeah, and what you can see from the practical perspective, that the certification on its own will not make you a great tester, but it's a very good starting point. And currently, if someone focuses on real projects and critical thinking and communication added to the certification, then adding all of these up, then someone can be a better tester, and ISTQB can support it, because the certification is a very good starting point what ISTQB can give you for any of the testers in the world. And basically that's what's happening since since 2002 when ISTQB was founded, and it's still happening.
Understood. Right. So there is an evolution as well as the market is changing. So is our certification. So is our portfolio of the different levels that we have within ISTQB. Oh, so that was the first, let's say, starter question. Now let's get to the main course. So now getting to the value of the certification itself. What does it mean for individuals and organization? Let's start with individuals first. So, Dimitri, from the student perspective or from the student side, what do you see those certifications are really bringing to those students?
What Zsolt just said resonated with me. Zsolt mentioned that it's a good starting point. I would allow myself to maybe contradict it a little bit. We're discussing here, maybe it's a chicken or egg problem. if you're experienced tester, you can also benefit from ISTQB certifications. It's like reading a book. If you're reading a book for the first time, being a teenager, you will have a certain understanding, perception of what's written there. If you're reading a book already being an adult, you would have different takeaways. So it's not just for beginners. Foundation level, of course, it's, I would say, a good start for beginners, but it's much more there. And I'm personally dealing with computer science students, third-year students. They have good understanding how software engineering works, but frankly speaking, not much exposed to quality assurance or software testing processes. So I'm trying really to share awareness of quality and close the gap. And I base a lot of theory from my course from the ISTQB syllabus, foundation and other syllabus, advanced level, test automation, performance testing, because these are the technical people. And definitely some of them see huge potential. First of all, that how to say, IT people, they see that if you study computer science, you can become a developer. This is old, how to say, confusion still exists. There's a tester, it's a dedicated profession. There's a lot of things to learn. That's why we have 25 plus syllabus in ISTQB, right? Definitely for students, it's a revelation when they learn how big and vast is the world of testing and quality assurance. And just to finish the thought, personally, when I graduated university, I was taking one certification or two certifications per year, every year, just to continue studying, just to learn something new, learn more about test management, learn more about security testing, etc. So I think that's it's a long learning path in the world of testing.
Yeah, it's a long learning path, and then what I'd like to add is for this perspective that it's a kind of for individuals. It's this certifications. It's like supporting them in portability, because if they move between countries or they switch industries or companies, then ISTQB acts like a common currency, from a knowledge perspective. Even if there is a tester from Hungary or Brazil or Germany or wherever, it can demonstrate that there is a baseline in their knowledge, and they can show the level of understanding through ISTQB certifications. And that's for the individuals, but for the companies, the biggest value for them is the consistency in terms of terminology and shared knowledge and shared understanding. Because if there is a multinational environment, a big company, for example, then for them, the most important thing is the standardized onboarding, and that variability between teams can be reused. So actually, ISTQB can give you value for the individuals and also for the companies itself.
And speaking about the company, Natya, being the head of an international branch of a company in Georgia, where do you see ISTQB certification in your employees?
Actually, I wanted to continue with Joel started and how he moved to the companies and industry side. I had with one of the roles that I'm part of ICT Association, there are included different companies. And I know that several companies even require on particular for employees to keep the certificates, ISTQB-based certificates on particular roles. For example, if they are assigning on the project where they have to work with AI, or based on the topics that will be connected with the models. And then some of them are definitely asked to have the certificate from ISTQB, either CTAI or Gen AI, and these requirements are active ones. And I investigated this because I was really curious to understand more if it was relevant on the market still and if it was growing up. So, and on the other hand, for the company, it's always important to support the growth of their employees and them to be educated, to grow up on particular areas. And you know that there exist different directions for the company. Some of them are just compensating, for example, the passing and taking ISTQB exams, or we had even additional bonuses allocated those who passed successfully the exams. There were the cases that sometimes you just allocate for the training, and then based on following the training and then taking the international exams, then everything is compensated. And there are also different approach when the company is supporting as well, have their inner trainings or the external trainings. And this is supporting the area of the particular tech directions for the specialists to grow up in that area. I would not go deeper here because definitely business, when they have their own courses, are more concentrated on their particular area and domain, and they give their practice knowledge that they have based on their own business. But I have met also the cases, and I can tell also on my case that you mentioned the delivery center here, that we had the particular course that was related to the CTAI. It was the theoretical one, but due to the fact that we were also industry, we gave some interesting insights about using in practice. What I wanted to say that, especially nowadays, it's very interesting to have the theory with also practice. And we have also syllabus, the last one, that also has a hands-on and the more practical thing. So especially the last syllabuses that we have and are oriented on AI directions, they are updated much faster. They have the all updated things inside, so it definitely makes sense to look through it and to keep this certificate. So from business perspective, I think these ones are really valuable ones.
So what I can understand from this conversation is that there is a career path that as well evolve within the certification, and also the companies are pushing or giving, let's say, some incentive to employees as well to get certified and move up those levels within ISTQB. And from what Zsolt and Dimitri did mention is that they are having common language as well to speak, like the global currency that you mentioned. So that's possible through ISTQB because ISTQB has a presence in nearly every country now around the world. It's I think 130 plus countries which is connected to ISTQB. So when we talk about ISTQB as a whole, and we often say to refer to syllabus, to sample papers and so on, this appear to be quite theoretical. It seems to be like theoretical really. So on a practical level, what's the impact of those certifications? Let's say on a day-to-day work, or from a student to a professional to an expert within the industry. What's the practical side of those theory that ISTQB has in its product content? It's an open question. Anyone who would like to answer?
I can start.
Yes.
Well, for me, it was, how to say, very interesting experience that when we first could contribute to creation of the new version of syllabus, participating as a country, as Lithuania, in writing new syllabus. All these are written by professionals, international teams from the field. And the theory comes from actual application, from the practice itself. So it's, how to say, refined in an international, reusable manner. I like Lovelash, as you said, or who was it, Zsolt, you? It's like a common currency, like, Bitcoin in testing. Let's call it this way. And it's of course up to those who delivers the trainings, up to those who deliver the courses, actually to augment this theory in real life exercises, in real life practice. So I would say it's not theoretical, because practice cannot be detached from it. I think it's just an important aspect of it, which you cannot just read through the paper. You have to practice.
Perfect.
I see Zsolt nods. Zsolt, you definitely have a lot to add to it.
Yes.
Yeah, I'd like to add, because there are some voices there which says that ISTQB evolves slower than the industry itself, the industries. And then it's an interesting fact that checking the portfolio of ISTQB, how aggressively it changes and evolves. It is evolving. CTFL now was modernized many times since the ISTQB has started, and then new syllabi come out, very frequently now. The test automation, security, performance, and there are many syllabi are on the portfolio. And now, talking about the individuals, they can select which fits for them the best, from this portfolio, and they can select the right syllabi for them, what they can learn, which fits for the industry. And it is really changing, and these syllabis are updated. And I think this is important both for the industry itself, because industry is followed by ISTQB, and that's how individuals can stay up to date. And that's and the what I personally think is that the for ISTQB is not important to give only one level of knowledge. It's a kind of because ISTQB doesn't want to freeze knowledge forever. It wants to focus on the evolution of knowledge and the industry needs. So basically, from this perspective, it's a kind of supporting individuals and also for the organizations and supporting them in continuous learning and updating their knowledge.
Oh, right. Understood. Natia, if you would like, I saw you unmute yourself.
Yes, so actually not a lot to add, because I also agree with all of us. And very shortly to add that I think I also mentioned from the beginning that you might always have the experience and all the experience that you and the knowledge that you manage to gather during your practice at work, and you are earning all this while you work. But sometimes you always have the questions to yourself: whatever you do, is it aligned to something? Does there exist any definitions, or is there any principles, or is anything that is followed and done correctly or not? And you always have these questions to yourself, especially when you are growing up and you are earning much more. Even if I don't go back to the early stages. So for me, even personally, it was much easier when I was a holder of certificates to understand that how everything was settled down on my daily life, and me as an expert, how I could manage to use this knowledge and be on a different level and level up, because comparing with others who, for example, was not having certificate and they were just following daily activities, I was on a different stage, because I could compare what was done and why it was had to be done in the proper way, and what was the rules, definitions, and the processes. Everything was much more clear for me afterwards. Therefore, I think it always had and still has a big impact on a daily life. And in the future, even with all the the updates my colleagues mentioned, I hope, and will be kept on a trendy and on the path of changes.
Perfect. Thank you, Natya. And also, I would like to mention that there is also with the evolution of the certification, there is also the evolution of the way that the syllabuses are made now. For example, we have on different certification hands-on to make it more practical, to give really the practical aspect of those learning objective, which is sometimes theoretical, but the hands-ons allow the students, the candidates, to really have the practical aspect as well. And there is one important thing as well, that in the market, when we talk about software testing, it's always deemed to be something which is technical, which is always like to have really your hands on the deck and so on. But there is also the aspect of test management. There in the previous session that we had on the ISTQB track, Irina was talking about test management, and I'm looking at Zsolt right now, but the test management. So Zsolt, how do you see like test management being really different from a conventional manager in the industry?
In the industry, and you mean test managers who hold the certification from ISTQB? Yeah. Well, we are talking about practical impact here. If someone acquires this certification, what will happen? What is the difference here? And actually, the biggest question is how this certification is used. Because if there is someone who only memorizes terminology, then it doesn't help that much. So I guess the real point here is how one actually apply everything what is learnable from ISTQB syllabi. So this kind of application of concepts, application of knowledge, this is the key point here. Because if someone does it, then the real effect can be seen in the daily life. Because then the control of the team, everything what the test manager does is like monitoring and control and planning all the activities, and the completion activities can be controlled in a much higher level and in a much better quality. And that can be felt by the test manager, and it can be seen by the team and the outside world. And the communication will be much smoother, and the traceability is one very important aspect which can be stronger and will be stronger if this knowledge is applied. And the list is quite long. And here, I would say the testing knowledge is more often about clarity than tooling. So everything happens, or starts at least, in the head of the testers and the test managers. And if in the head of these people there is a useful knowledge, then they can apply it, and then everything will be smoother. Processes, results can be seen. And yeah, and that's basically test manager is all about. Test management, that's the key factor and the biggest goal of test management.
Thank you, Zsolt. All right, I think we also need to address the elephant in the room, AI. It's changing the landscape in the industry, I think even in learning now, Dimitri. So where do you see the future of certification in the age of AI and continuous change? Now the industry is continuously changing. So where do you see the ISTQB certification settling up in such an ever-changing environment, ecosystem?
Oh, that's a hard topic, I have to say, because industry is changing so fast. It's probably hard for everyone to grasp what was a week ago. It's already new things are happening today. And it's everywhere. For academia in particular, when we have a course, we usually make changes to a program once per year to make it up to date. But can you imagine what's happened within this academic year? I mean, there are so many breakthroughs and so much changing. So I think everyone is feeling pressure regarding the changes. But it's a continuous change on all sides, and I like to see the new certifications, new syllabus, which reflect the need in the skills, Gen AI in particular. I think the whole industry would have to also adapt to this ever ongoing changes. We have to be faster, we have to be stronger, and still the need for expertise, for real knowledge still remains. It's about adapting, and I think a lot of syllabus in ISTQB will also react and adapt to how we will do in testing actually. How we're doing automation. I think in general, the role of a tester, at least it's just my opinion. So let's take it with a grain of salt. I think it's shifting a bit, as well as the role of developers, a role of requirements engineers, business analysts, because with the AI, a tester can actually do a lot what developers used to do. And we have to think how we are approaching it, because if we talk to a customer and the customer says, I have this issue, well, if you're just one prompt away of implementing the fix and you're representing the perspective of the customer, you're actually influencing a lot how the software development process works. So I think we are living in a really interesting age with a lot of changes happening. And while I'm talking, I need to check what my Claude just did and instruct the bunch of agents to give them instructions, confirmations on what to do next. So it's exciting times.
Indeed, exciting times. What about your views, Natya?
Actually, Dimitri started very painful topic, I would say.
I opened Pandora box.
Yes, because I think the last period, it's the period when dramatically change everything on every direction, and the market is not exception as well. And the demand, for example, from the business perspective, if you look on the market, and I'm not speaking only not on Georgia market, but overall, the demand has changed dramatically. The positions and the roles are also reshaping, and the responsibilities as well. But the demand, especially, for example, if you speak about the junior specialists, are not on the level that they were, for example, if we even compare just a few years ago. And definitely the understanding of the junior is purely different nowadays. What are the skills or what are the requirements are also different ones. And I had interesting similar discussion about the demands on the market and how everything is growing up very rapidly and very fast in the era of AI. And they bring a different mindset, and of course, a lot of people are afraid of these changes. But I would say that now the specialists were able and capable to work with AI models to mastering, and they have the future. At least they will know how to continue and to keep on the job or to find more jobs. And there are much more. If comparing with the years, if there was a market that the companies were hunting on the specialists, nowadays the specialists are hunting on the companies. Like everything has changed, and all the views and directions have changed as well. What I see is that those who are capable to working on AI directions, and definitely the demand on these specialists have even grown up, and the companies are searching much more such specialists. So on the one hand, if we also put on ISTQB side the directions connected with AI, and I see that our last products are rapidly and updating much faster than we were doing it before. That is already, we are trying to follow all the trends. So this is very good. And as all of us knows that everything changed even yesterday or even today, maybe I am out of date. It's the same is happening, that we need to follow all these things. And to keep, if we want to be on the trend and on the track as well, we need also to follow this way as well. And for me, the interesting fact was that since there are the companies who are asking for the certifications with CTAI, for example, and GenAI, it means already that these certifications are important ones. And we definitely need to keep the trend and follow all the updates that are upcoming ones. And I'm sure in future, if we had and return to these discussions and the similar discussions after 3 months, it will be totally different views and totally different updates. So I don't see any other options, just not to follow up all these changes that is happening.
Yeah, I can also observe that there is a change in focus. And now, why I'm saying that is because the testers were seen and valued for a long time for test execution mainly. And now, AI came into the picture, and now there is a kind of shift in skills towards mainly towards critical thinking and risk analysis and system understanding, and most importantly, maybe questioning the outputs what AI generated. And then that's what made me thinking. Then what can you suggest to someone who listen us? It's what else they should learn the basics, because these fundamentals are now even getting more important since the AI started to evolve, because we need to understand the basics. And we use the basics for mainly for evaluating the AI results, what the results produced by the AI, and who can evaluate. Those ones can evaluate who knows the basics of testing. And I don't know what will happen in the future. So whatever will change, I guess for a long time, validation will stay with us, because accepting the result, a human should do it.
Yeah, that's beautifully
AIs
summarized.
are trained on human data, and they have really good tendency to do human mistakes. Even though we have to admit it's how to say, quite sophisticated systems you can build, but I'm struggling. My AI already did push to the GitHub without my permissions for the 3rd time.
Wow.
Even though there was explicit instruction, do it only if I explicitly say to do it so. So you have to have these guardrails. I mean, and the thing is, it's how to say, it's deterministic. It's not 100%. It can go sideways. So there's definitely human in the loop. Otherwise, we're exposed to high risk, I would say.
Sure. We can't afford that for a safety critical system that's deployed by AI and then we test it on production. That's not going to work.
Which syllabus
can...
you were reading, Lovelash? I cannot recall it.
Sorry, I didn't catch the question.
Sorry, it was a joke. I thought you were reading some of the syllabus. I couldn't recognize which one.
No, not referring to any of the syllabus.
That's why we needed to not to do things like this.
Not to do things like that, yeah. Otherwise, there will be people certified on certain schemes that we don't even approve having pushed to production. So, I see some questions flowing in. I would like to take some minutes to give the stage to our audience by pushing some of the questions from the audience. The first one already on the screen. So is there a person who has passed all ISTQB certifications? Who would like to take that on?
I know one person who has passed 11, and I think, to my knowledge, this is a record for Lithuania. I'm personally, I'm not aware, but I've definitely heard there are people who have more.
I didn't count it, but so I'm not sure that everyone knows that there is a successful candidate register, which it is a system in which you can upload your certifications and you can access it via the internet. And this is listed, and it is useful if you want to find a new job site, for example, and for your future employee can read it and check whether all your certifications are valid, and still you can prove that you acquired those certifications. Anyway, what I'd like to point out is that in that successful candidate register in Hungary, there is a person. If you open it, here, the list hardly can fit in a screen. You can almost scroll it because it's there are so many of certifications. I didn't count it, but it's a long list.
Okay.
And that person is not usual, right? You were not talking about yourself.
Yeah. No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't mention it.
All right, but just to answer this one, even if there were few person that was certified on all the ISTQB certification, that would have been true only for, let's say, a few hours back, because today we launched 2 additional certifications on ISTQB, the CTQDO, which is the quality in DevOps, and the CTFT, which is finance testing. So these 2 certifications are launched today. So saying that someone who has passed all ISTQB certification will not be true, because those 2 certifications will be missing from his portfolio. And that's a question that I would like to take to make a reference, because in the next 2 sessions that we are going to have on this ISTQB stream, we are going to talk about these 2 new certifications, the CTQDO and CTFT. So stay with us for those 2 new certification, and the product owners will be introducing those new learning objectives of those certificates, those syllabuses. All right, we'll take another question. Okay, are the certificates still required by business? I guess it's about ISTQB certificate. So I would like to have Natya answer this question. Would you rather have testers with certificates? Will this really matter in the recruitment process, or is the experience enough?
So I think I managed to raise this question because I touched it several times, that there are organizations and the companies who require certifications. And I really know the examples when, depending on the project, they require particular certificates, not only for example, the foundation and CTFL, but particular certifications depending on the project needs. So definitely there are the business and the organizations who require the certificates. And of course, there you can find the business who moves on with the practice side, but there, I think at some point, even as a person, you reach the level when you want to compare your knowledge. Where is your level, or according to any grades, are you going somewhere, or what's your standard, or what is the standard or understanding, and you go to the certificates anyway. So I think from the both sides, you find this match, that it's time to find and do the certificates. Take the certificate.
Natya, Lovelace, if I may just quickly add, it's probably depending country by country. In Lithuania, for public procurement, if there is public tenders, and government agencies are asking for particular competence, they are asking for certifications. And when it comes to testing, there isn't much to look for. It's usually ISTQB. So if you want to do business in Lithuania with the government and you need to supply the testers or to have a team where the testers are also members of that team, it's usually ISTQB certifications that are required.
All right, interesting. So that's also the I see that how then the government recognized the value of those certificate in the tender. That's an interesting perspective. Thank you, Dimitri.
Yeah, but Lovelace, generally speaking, you can turn it backwards. I don't know who asked this question, but ask the opposite. Who would you rather work with? With someone who has the certification and can prove that at least to some extent a kind of level of knowledge is acquired by that person, or with someone who doesn't have any certifications? It's a kind of like, driving a car. Who would you like to drive or go with in a taxi? With a taxi driver who has the license or who doesn't have the license? Because a taxi driver without a license can drive safely and everything. So in practice, maybe he is good at, but a license is a kind of with a license you can show a kind of background of you and a kind of level of knowledge what you can prove with a license and a certification.
And Zsolt, it's internationally recognized license that you can drive in every country.
Exactly.
Whether on the right or the left side.
Right.
Right, or left.
That's good analogy. All right, so we'll take another question. In the era of AI and model tools, why certificates are still needed? I think we did cover those, but briefly, if you would like to share your perspective on this.
I mean, AI, if we're talking about agents or whatever, these tools, they are accelerating us. It's additional tools, like automation was introduced. It could do regression testing much faster to larger scale. Right now, we have really strong tools at our hands that would allow us amplify our knowledge, apply our expertise faster in an absolutely different manner. So I don't think it's something that replaces the testing knowledge, the qualifications, but something that just augments this knowledge. I look at artificial intelligence, different tools as just amplifier.
Understood.
Yeah. Exactly, and we said a few minutes ago that the AI, as Dmitry said, AI is a great tool and speeds us up. But you should know where you are going, what do you want to achieve, and whether the results are good. And so you need a kind of level of knowledge just to say whether the results are good or not. And this kind of level of knowledge is not coming from AI. AI can speed it up, but the knowledge comes from somewhere else. And ISTQB syllabi can be a kind of source of knowledge for that.
Perfect. Thank you, Zsolt. Thank you, Dimitri. We'll take a last question. Right. Which certification would you recommend for a tester to take first?
That's easy. Natya,
it's easy when you know it.
Right. The foundation level, I guess. Yes.
Yes. It's even if you want to take any other, you see that prerequisite is a foundation level. So it's the entry level and the fundamentals that you are starting to learn about this direction totally. So I think it's the easiest question, definitely.
Yeah.
Yes. So there's a prerequisite. Which would be the second one? Then, which would we choose? I'm just thinking out loud.
Well, I would say it depends on your career aspiration, right?
Exactly. It depends. You're Lovelace, you're acting as a true QA question asker. It depends. Of course. What are the requirements?
Yeah, but let's help for the person who asked this question. So CTFL, the foundation level is a must, but the big question, what comes next? And okay, of course it depends, but what based on what? Based on the personal goals and a kind of career path and the future. And it is on the ISTQB website, by the way. There are different personas. If you want to be, I don't know, a kind of test manager, you can select this kind of persona, and then the portfolio diagram will show which direction to go. So it is supported. I mean, all the testers are supported in their career development, and all the testers just have to decide about their own skills and needs and goals and personal goals. And then based on the personal goals, the career ladder, the ISTQB will support everyone, to go to the right direction. Let it be a specialist module or go further towards test manager on the advanced level and expert level, or should it be, AI focused or agile focused, environment in which one is working. So there are many and multiple options and can be selected wisely on the ISTQB main page.
Zsolt answered so well that I don't know what else to add.
I
would just say is that from the experience that we have here, for the last period, definitely foundation is the first one with the taking exams. It's them, as the others mentioned, is the first one, and definitely the biggest numbers goes here. And the second one, according to, especially for Georgia, I can tell that it goes with AI direction because it's a trendy and everyone is trying to go deeper here. But earlier we had the cases depending on the projects, depending on what they were working. For example, on mobile was first for them, or which direction was first required for them. For example, working for agile side or on mobile side, then they were just selecting the particular product. But for the last period, I can say that mostly it's AI that the people are interested and would like to explore more. That's my observation.
Yes, true. All right. Well, I think we won't have time to take another question, but I would like to thank our esteemed guest. Thank you for being with us. Thank you for sharing your insight from the different perspective, academia, business, and also ISTQB with us. And for our audience, please stay with us, because as I did mention in the stream over here, in this session, we have the launch of the 2 new products of ISTQB, Quality in DevOps and Finance Testing. So we will have the product owners of these certification explaining to us about these 2 new certifications that is launched today. So please stay with us. And also, don't forget to follow us on our social media, on LinkedIn, Facebook, and even on TikTok. We're on TikTok now, so please do follow us over there. And remember, the single source of truth where you can get all the certifications, the information, and syllabus, sample papers, and also answers to the sample paper is istqb.org. Thank you again. Thank you to our guests for being with us, and we'll continue with our stream. Stay with us.
Thank you all. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Generative AI is transforming how software testing works. But using AI tools is not the same as using them professionally. The ISTQB Certified Tester Testing with Generative AI certification defines the structured, internationally recognized standard for applying generative AI in testing. It validates your ability to engineer effective prompts, evaluate AI outputs, enhance automation, and integrate AI into real testing workflows. This is more than experimentation. It is professional competence. Stand out. Prove your expertise. Get certified in testing with generative AI.